In Pit Lane brought to you by Online Invent, websites, digital marketing and custom software. And with thanks to these great community supporters. To another edition of In Pit Lane. If you're wondering why we're looking so casual tonight, well, it's party week. It is Bathurst week. Happy Bathurst week, everybody. Coming up this weekend, of course, the Bathurst 1000. It's that time of the year when people who know absolutely nothing about motorsport all get together and pretend that they're experts. It's a bit like sort of, the Moomba water skiing or the Olympics or anything like that. But it's all coming this weekend. The Bathurst 1000 gets underway on Thursday, and we're going to chat about it tonight. Wanted to get into a bit of a party mood. Alongside me, also frocked up for the night in the party dress, is Craig Doc Gladigo, back from secret assignment in far off Mozambique. So what? How did you enjoy your trip?
Mozambique, they're very absolutely fantastic. Track was absolutely brilliant. I have to tell you more. We've only got half an hour to talk about things. But as you said, we're in party mode this week. More importantly, the 1000, and you know what? There's just so much to cover and so little time.
The thing is, I did want to make it is the Big Bathurst Bash, but I want to make it the Big Bathurst Barbecue Bash. Unfortunately, RMIT management said that no, they wouldn't go for a Weber in the studio, nor for that matter would they go with pina coladas on the desk either. So I'm really pissed off with that.
Weber's gives another set the smoke alarms off. We always have the fire trucks every second
Why
week.
not?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, speaking of things we can't either eat or drink at the moment, I suppose what we can do is tell you a bit of news. This is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. Well, Australia has a new Formula Ford champion. Eddie Beswick wrapped up the title last weekend of the Victorian State Series round down at Phillip Island. In tricky, wet, miserable conditions, as is typical of Phillip Island, Beswick only needed to finish 7th in the national class in the second race to wrap up the title, and that's exactly what he did. The overall winner for the weekend went to Kobe Williams after winning the opening 2 races and taking a second place in the final race to Jack Bussey. Beswick will receive a supercars test drive with Dick Johnson Racing as part of his championship prize. And incidentally, Eddie will be joining us this Thursday night live on Full Course Yellow on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel.
What a bonus. Looking forward to that. Teams are setting up and ready to go for Thursday's first on-track session for this year's Bathurst 1000. Bringing out Jarina Bogan. The question still hanging over the race is, will the Ford contingent be ready in time? Yeah, there's controversy every year. New GT3 spec crankshafts have been sourced from all over the globe, namely UK and US. Ford are confident that all cars will be ready, but another glitch may come if the Ford suddenly finds some Bathurst form. Camaro teams will be waiting and ready to file complaints if the new modifications upset the dreaded parity between the two sides. In Pit Lane's Thursday night chat session, Full Course Yellow will have all the latest news from the mountain, and this Thursday night at 8:30 on In Pit Lane YouTube channel and Facebook page.
Well, this weekend also sees the running of the annual Petit Le Mans at the Road Atlanta circuit in the United States. Sports car racing is absolutely booming at the moment, and things might be about to get even better. According to a report from the normally reliable daily sports car website, Mercedes AMG may be looking to join the top-level WEC and IMSA series in future. Interestingly, though, it said that they're looking at an IMSA spec LMDH car and not the more expensive but sophisticated hypercars as raced by Toyota, Ferrari and Peugeot. Hyundai have already announced that they will be joining the race to Le Mans via their upmarket Genesis brand.
Oh, mouth-watering. Sports car racing is certainly very popular. You know what else is popular? NASCAR. And this week's race for the Cup at Talladega showed why.
A thrilling finish at the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega Super Speedway as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. triumphed in overtime, narrowly defeating Brad Keselowski and William Byron. Stenhouse captured his fourth career victory, his first in 65 races, making this the third time a non-playoff driver has claimed victory in the current playoff series. A major 27-car accident, a new record, with 5 laps remaining, caused a red flag, halting the race for nearly 10 minutes and impacting 8 of the 12 playoff contenders. Shane Van Gisbergen finished an encouraging 15th after he led the race late in stage 2 for 10 laps after running a high line tactic that paid off. As the playoffs continue, the pressure mounts with only one race left to determine which of the 8 drivers will advance to the next round. The good news for Shane Van Gisbergen, though, is that the next race is on the road course at Charlotte. Team WRT BMW has been declared the winner of the Indianapolis 8 Hours after a penalty affected Wright Motorsports. This victory also earned Charles Wirtz the Intercontinental GT Drivers title. The Porsche 911 GT3R finished first, but received a 5-second penalty for a pit lane infringement, losing the overall win. Dries Vanthor, driving the WRT BMW M4, closed the gap to Heinrich in the final minutes and got close enough to take the win and secure the Drivers' Championship for Wirtz. Porsche, however, took out the Manufacturers' Championship. Completing the podium were the Group M Racing Mercedes AMG and the Racers Edge Motorsport Acura NSX. And remember, if you'd like to catch up and discuss the latest news in the world of motor racing, then join us every Thursday night at 8:30 live for Full Course Yellow. It's a general motorsport chat session where you're invited to submit your questions, make your comments, have your say. We're live at 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time every Thursday night on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel and Facebook page.
Wasn't there some wipeouts there? Francesco Bagnaia won the Japan MotoGP ahead of the championship frontrunner Jorge Martin to cut the Spaniards' championship lead to only 10 points with 4 races remaining. The defending world champion Bagnaia overtook some pole sitter Pedro Acosta on the first lap at Motegi and stayed in the lead to finish 1.189 seconds ahead of Martin, with Marc Marquez finishing third. Bagnaia also won Saturday's sprint race to leave Japan 11 points closer to Martin than he was at the start of the weekend. It's Bagnaia's 8th Grand Prix win of the season, his best ever tally. Sounds almost unbeatable. It was also his first victory at the Japan MotoGP. The MotoGP title fight now moves to Phillip Island in 2 weeks' time for the Australian Grand Prix. And that's a somewhat less than packed news for this week.
Yes, indeed. Now, coming up in just a moment, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to discuss the big Bathurst Bash for the week. And listen, if you're going to have a big Bathurst Bash, you've got to have some music. And tonight, joining us on the program will be our band, Malibu Spacey. Stay tuned. You're watching In Pit Lane. We'll be back right after this.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, and a big shout out to our valued partner in Online Invent, a premier SEO, web design and online marketing company based right here in Melbourne. Whether you need a stunning new website, effective SEO strategies or targeted online marketing campaigns, their team has the skills to drive your business forward. Now, unlock your brand's potential and with tailored solutions that make a real impact. Visit www.onlineinvent.com.au today and discover how they can transform your digital landscape. And once again, a heartfelt thank you to Online Invent for their ongoing support of In Pit Lane, RMITV and Grassroots Motorsport. And remember to check out Roy's YouTube channel, Motorsport Archives, with an S, archives.com, for some classic motorsport memories as well as brand new content.
That is, Motorsport Archives is absolute treasure trove, and it grows by the week because either Roy's out usually getting new footage himself, or he is hunting it down. So anything he can find, absolutely, probably the old tapes up in people's attics,
well,
he's making them happen.
Mostly old tapes out of my garage, because you know, because you help me pack them.
Right, yeah. Some of those tapes I do worry about, though. They've gone.
Yes, I'm hoping we didn't.
They've been to places that they've been to places I've never want to probably put some things.
The old days, In Pit Lane, the home of $10 porn. Now, coming up on the program, as we said, our band tonight is Malibu Spacey. You can catch them on October the 24th at the Bad Decisions Bar in Fitzroy. They've got a new album. It's good in small doses, and it's out now. You can also find them, if you want to contact them and find out more about them, on Instagram at Malibu Spacey. But right now, here they are with Paradise is Crowded. Malibu Spacey.
Bought you flowers when I filled my car. Gave me headlights in a wooden box. 'Cause life is long and nothing ever stops. I'm so happy. Godless, soulless animal. It's a shame that paradise is crowded. Man, watch me, here I go. Pluto, Neptune, and the other guys are all fighting to paradise. Clinking ice cubes in a cosmic drink. The more I learn, the less I think. Godless, soulless animal. It's a shame that paradise is crowded. Hey man, watch me, here I go.
Ah, yes, that was Malibu Spacey, and you'll be hearing more from them a little bit later on in the program. That was a bonus for all of you watching on YouTube right now. And
there won't be any bad decisions in that bar, that's for sure.
No, that would be great.
Oh, that's all right. You can use that on the night. Go for it. I was going to say, you all made a good decision to come and see us tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. We have had so many great bands. This is what we've said so many times. There is just so much talent running around in the Melbourne music scene right now. Yeah. And unfortunately, and the guys I'm sure will agree, there's just not the exposure. There's not the number of places.
Remember I said to you a couple of weeks ago, remember, we're down by a whole third. 1/3 of venues across Australia have disappeared over the last 2-3 years, unfortunately. So when you get absolute crazy out of this world tunes like that kicking on, that's enough to just mellow. That'll mellow you for a week. That's not let on a night.
As you probably know, I mean, like I'm a little bit older. No, okay, I'm a lot older than you.
You've got to stop dyeing your hair grey.
Back in my day, I mean, you would go out out in the suburbs. You would go, to the Croxford Park, to the Walsing Matilda, to the Stamford, to the Albion in Dandenong. You would go out, and there were every single pub had live music basically Thursday through until Saturday, and you just don't see that nowadays.
You could sip on a whiskey all night, these guys, and if you did, you couldn't get up the chair from the whiskey
And
plate anyway. But they make you sit there.
You wouldn't even have to listen to the music. You just sit there and sip the whiskey. I would suggest that if you would like to sip whiskey, now is probably a good time, because we're going to come back in just a moment and we're going to talk about a place where there'll be perhaps not too much whiskey, but certainly a lot of beer will be drunk this week. Mount Panorama Bathurst, the Bathurst 1000. We're going to take a break on In Pit Lane. We'll be right back. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, obviously coming up this weekend is the Bathurst 1000. It is probably still the biggest regional motorsport event in Australia, outside, of course, of the international events like the Grand Prix and even the Bathurst 12 Hour now. Although the Bathurst 12 Hour won't get anything like the sort of crowd we're going to see on the mountain this weekend. Now, we don't have a guest this week because there's just so much to talk about, and with Bathurst and with the whole state of supercars at the moment. So I just thought, me and Doc would just sort of chew the fat, as it were. And
this would be like a pre-production meeting when we talk for hours on end anyway.
Yeah, sort of a
business lunch, and we never, we just talk about the whole what the surroundings of the world with motorsport.
Now let's start with your personal memories of Bathurst. What's your earliest memories of Bathurst? When was the first time you remember it?
Earliest memories, yeah, mid single digits. Just an absolute. It was the be it all, end it all. You wanted to be that supercar driver, as it's known as now, or Group A or Group C, as it was known back then.
So who was driver. Obviously Brock.
You just wanted to see Dickie Johnson and Peter Brock just go hammer and tong at each other, wouldn't you?
So basically the Group C days with the Commodores and the Falcons and all the rest of it. Yeah.
And yours, Brett?
I go back.
I was going to say.
I go back a little earlier.
It might have been the Bathurst 500 for you. Wouldn't it?
It certainly was. In fact, it was the Hardy Ferodo 500, and it was in black and white back in those days. And I remember my earliest memory. Well, the two memories is they always put out it was always a big thing that they put out the program for the racer in the local news aids. And my dad would go out, and that was a big treat. He would go out and he would buy me the Bathurst 500 official program.
From the news agents?
Yes, and it would have a bit like the ABC cricket.
You could swear by those.
Yeah, and it would have a lap chart, and you could sit there all day and do that and write in the detail. Yeah. And I remember my first on-track
driver profiles?
What driver profiles like? But my first on-track memory was a guy we spoke to last year, and we have very vivid memories of, because it was straight afterwards that I fell down and broke my shoulder. That was Colin Bond.
I was going to say,
I remember Bondy having a crash in the wet in the Tirana GTR XU1 at Bathurst, and that's sort of, in my brain, that's the one thing I remember from all those years ago.
Speaking of crashes, I think I could probably throw out the Dick Johnson incident with the Rock. There's always a kangaroo jumping past at some stage over the weekend this year, so watch out. Buy a lottery ticket this year if you miss it. And also the Dick Johnson Rock. Well, also I remember the controversial Peter Brock one. Peter was special. We all knew that. And he could basically win anything on his own bloody wrist with the steering wheel. But the year he took over the other car because his broke down and he kicked the other boys out. And said, this is mine.
It was a bit like the old days of W.G. Grace in the cricket. It's sort of he'd get out there and it was like they've not come to watch you bowl, boy. They've come to watch me bat, and I'm staying.
Yeah. By the way, I own this team.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, they changed the rules as a result of that. But yeah, Brock was obviously a Bathurst legend, but also Alan Moffat. Alan's still with us, and not in the best of health nowadays. But
he always makes the track whenever he's up to it, and there's just so many. But that is testament to what the Australian landscape of Bathurst and all the supercars, and back in the touring car championship, a lot of the guys that once they've passed their time in the series, they come back and they give back to the track, whether it's at those events or some of the subsequent ones as well though too. But you just mentioned something about the change of rules though. There are a lot of rule changes this year, and some significant, some small, and some could make a big factor in this year's.
Yeah, they've done a bit of tweaking, but even between Sandown and Bathurst.
Huge.
So what?
I just wrote a couple of notes. Yeah, full course yellow. So they, discriminately, they said it could be back at Sandown. It's going to be 2 laps. 2 laps. We're going to do this. Yep. We're going to do that. We're going to clean up some debris, or we need to drag a car out of the kitty litter or something like that. Now this year at Bathurst, it's still going to be. But the full course yellow is going to be upgraded from 80 kilometres an hour to 120 for Bathurst, from Sandown to Bathurst. So it's going to get an upgrade of 40 k an hour. That'll make a lot of difference on Conrod Straight. And also they've said the race control could be 30 seconds, it could be a minute, could be 3 laps, which is going to throw the teams out. Yeah.
Well, that's as you know, sort of how it works in the WEC. And we have like our program called Full Course Yellow. We actually have the countdown from Eduardo Freitas, who we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, to there, and that was one of the problems they had at Sandown, is that you had Will Davison got sort of rear-ended by our mate Davey Reynolds, because they called the full course yellow. Some people went, oh, full course yellow, slow down immediately. Other people went, no, we've got 15 seconds, and suddenly you had at the end of the main straight cars just ploughing into each other, having all sorts of damage. Hopefully they will be very clear on when they're calling the full course. They will listen to Eduardo Freitas, they will channel their inner Eduardo, and it will be a proper countdown. They'll say, full course yellow in
5, 4, yeah. Couple of quick hardcore ones, because that's what we are here at In Pit Lane.
We are.
The 2 new tyres this year, 2 wets. They're going to bring in that. Haven't been before. Soft tyres are still there, but they're going to bring back the hard tyres. They're not going to be trickling around like last year. Very important, because a lot of them were just sitting around, just conservative.
It'll be interesting to see whether they actually use that. I think Mark Winterbottom, I think Frosty was saying he's not 100% sure they're actually going to bring those hard tyres out at all.
Well, that's what there'll be pink writing too. Obviously, this year they're going to support support the National Breast Cancer, which is
very good. Yes.
Quickly, a little known one that people will maybe have tuned into, maybe catch up with Larko. He's always awesome. He's good with his fun facts, old Larko. They're going to slow the fuel restrictors down on refuelling throughout the day as well too, which is very important, because if you're going to refueling certain time, you can either do extra stuff or it's going to annoy you. So that's just something to keep an eye out. They've slowed that down since Sandown, and probably the biggest one that everyone's rapped about: primary drivers.
Oh, well, I'm certainly not wrapped about it. I think that's terrible. The idea, of course, as we saw at Sandown, was the primary drivers start the race. I can see why they sort of, why they want that, but it takes away that strategy. It takes away the option of having a really experienced, really good co-driver and putting them up against the primary drivers, the regular drivers, and seeing how that all balances out and being able to play around with it as they tried to do with Craig Lowndes and Cooper Murray at Sandown. And it paid off really well, because they started way back and ended up finishing 5th. Because, obviously we know how
quality of driving as well, though, too, from both.
Well, that's it. I mean, and that's what you could do. You could say, okay, we've got a really, really good, high quality, co-driver, a Gas Tander or a Jamie Whincup or somebody like that. You can start them. They're not going to lose anything, and then you can bring home.
It takes the concept out, doesn't it?
Yes.
It takes the concept out as well.
Also means you don't have that sort of thing where you've got young drivers, overlapping with the primary drivers, and you can see how good they are, because you can see them go, oh, hang on, that kid's doing a great job.
Look, going back to our old days we were just talking about before, it takes, as you said, the old and the young ones and at different times. Back in the days, the old XY GT Ho Phase 3 going down the thing, overtaking a Mini Cooper S.
Those were the days. Hey, listen, we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up, and we'll get your tips a little bit later, but right now we're going to take another break. When we come back here on In Pit Lane, we're going to close out the night with our band tonight, Malibu Spacey. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
When we get back?
Yes, we're just talking about the Grand Prix thing. There's absolute debacle. Pete, you're a regular Grand Prix goer. Have you got your tickets, or have you?
I got tickets yesterday.
Okay, so Pete,
you haven't been shut down.
Okay, so if you're looking for Grand Prix tickets, contact Pete.
Yeah, Pete owns them all. He bought the whole every stand.
This is how he finances his year. I mean, he just goes in there and buys a lot of it.
You can legally scalp 10% above.
Well, it's Pete and sort of 270 of his closest friends. And
Big complaints about the price increases. Pete, what's your opinion?
It's going to happen.
Relative?
Yeah. We'll talk about that with Pete on Thursday night.
There's a little lead up though.
We'll hopefully have some more details tomorrow. I mean, because they had a the interesting thing is the failure didn't happen in New Zealand, and of course there's lots of Kiwis want to come across because Liam Lawson is going to be racing, they believe. So I mean, for that reason, lots of Kiwis have got tickets and lots of Melbourne people haven't. So. Anyway,
so there won't be much bungee jumping and whitewater rafting going
on.
I just need to say
just quickly before we go, once again, thank you to our Patreon supporters.
Yes,
really do appreciate it. It's as we said, if you want to help us out, it's only from as little as $1 a week, a single $1 a week. You can put in towards In Pit Lane, and it makes it just that much easier for us to be able to do what we do here every week on Channel 31 and on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, which is bring you motorsport news and some great bands and live music.
Just immensely incredible bands that just out there in society, they just drop through the cracks, and we, Brett and I find them, and they yell out to us, and
we literally find them on the streets. Don't we?
We do find them on the streets, and
we had Miguel a couple of weeks ago, and
a little while later they're doing videos on YouTube and getting thousands
and millions.
These guys have been around 6-7 years and just getting ever more popular as well too. So, and done a few albums. I checked out some of their stuff on Bandcamp. It was awesome. There you go.
Yes, and remember, and you guys, are you guys on Spotify at all, I take it? Yeah, yep, okay, so we will add you, there is an In Pit Lane playlist where we put up a lot of the bands most of the bands that come on the program. At some stage, we will put them up. And for those people who go, hang on, Chaka Ponk, which is the biggest band in France, yes, Chaka Ponk have been on In Pit Lane, so there you go. So, okay, are we ready to, we're going to take a very quick break and then we're going to come back, are we, Pete?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this.
Is that like Shaq O'Neal?
To In Pit Lane here on Bathurst Week. Now we've spoken a little bit about some of our memories of Bathurst and some of the issues that we'll see this week coming up at the track. But Doc, first of all, weather. Well, that's always a tricky one at Bathurst. From your spies up there,
yes.
What have you got to say?
I have a little secret squirrel that you said I was on special assignment. I was up in New South Wales, very close to Bathurst, but the long-range weather forecast says 50% of rain on the Sunday. So they're going to get nice 17 to 23 all the way leading up to it. But Sunday's got that 50% chance. But I'm more worried about, I want to ask you how your crankshaft is holding up and whether it's still spinning okay. Because
my crankshaft hasn't been spinning for years. And unfortunately, those tablets are just so expensive.
I know.
My crankshaft is, basically doesn't move.
The colour purple?
There's, but
anyway, there's some big reliability issues, and it looks like they might have solved them by doing some handheld delivered through Japan.
Yeah, they're actually going around, and they're sourced out the GT3
holding out their money bag. Yep.
Yeah, specification crankshafts, and they're literally getting people to put them in personal luggage and bring them across, and they're hoping to have them all ready to go for Thursday when they start. Now, as we said in the news, at the moment, the Chev runners are going, yeah, that's all right, that's okay, but if suddenly there's a real performance boost for the Fords, they might not be so keen.
Well, here's the thing, like we were saying earlier, I was saying to you earlier about the 5,000 dip curve on the torque on the Fords, and it's slightly top end. it seemed like at Sandown, the Chevs were running down the straight and killing them anyway. So that was by popular opinion, but by both sides of the blue and red ovals.
That's the thing about Bathurst, though. I mean, you've got two sides of because going up, it could be totally different. Going up the hill might be totally different to coming down Conrod as well.
Quick, we're going to do some tips. 26 cars. Who do you like and who do you think will
I
feature?
think just because of the unreliability, I'm going to go for the Camaro, and I'm going to go. It'll be if a Camaro wins, it's probably going to be a 888 car. So either
mustard sandwich. Stuck in between
if it wasn't for the problems, I would say Chaz Mostert and the Mustang. But I'm just a bit concerned about the reliability of the Mustangs. So I'm going to say sort of Brock Feeney and
Mr. Consistent Brown.
Or Will Brown.
And I said to you earlier, and you said I'm with you on that one. I think Cooper Murray and Mr. Lowndes will be a top 10. I think they showed a bit of form in Sandown, but
great performance.
If Cooper can keep it, we know Lowndes, he can just keep ticking around all day with his eyes closed. But if Cooper does all right,
and as we said, next year, Craig Lowndes and Daniel Cardo in a Camaro, sponsored by the Australian Dental Foundation. That'll be the one.
Yeah, the Toyotas get here, and come on, bring an Audi over as well.
Okay, well, there's the tip. Now, if you want to find out the latest news from Mount Panorama, be watching Thursday night at 8:30 on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel for Full Course Yellow. Our special guest, as we said, will also be Eddie Beswick, the currently newly crowned Australian Formula Ford champion. But right now, to close us out on this very special program, our band tonight is Malibu Spacey. You can see them in action on October the 24th at the Bad Decision Bar in Fitzroy. They've got a new album. It's good in small doses, apparently, and that's out now as well, and you can find them on Instagram as well for Malibu Spacey. But right now, to take us out, this is Malibu Spacey with Danger, Danger. Good night, everyone.
Took my glasses, I need them for I zero self-esteem. Oh, they call me chicken shit now and then. Well, they would be correct. I'm playing dead. Their pissed and fists are turning red. But I'm so scared. I leave the lights on when I go to bed, and I know that the closer I get to danger, the further I get from myself. Grey hair years whipping by, still time to prove I can be hard. Maybe I'll do a crime. Well, I've stolen Wi-Fi, but I'm reformed and now I subscribe with my wife. I'm sensitized. Imagine myself through someone else's eyes, and I don't look right the closer I get to danger, the further I get from myself. Danger signs all around my mind. Danger signs 1,000,000 times. Danger, 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 danger. danger. Danger, 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 danger. My taste in music's soft, Steely Dan and Seals and Crofts on cassette tapes that send me drifting out. I got a cactus, cat scratch post, a canyon wine, Sunday roast. I can't seem to shake this constant ghost. I'm sensitized. Imagine myself through someone else's eyes, and I don't look right the closer I get to danger. The further I get from myself.